everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit. I'll tell you what, this is the Pain Toolkit. I'm with some buddies tonight. I'm with my buddies that I met over in Boston at the IASP Congress. And without introduction, Joe, always ladies first. Joe, I've got Joe Belton with me from Denver. Joe, hello to you.
Hi, Pete. How you doing? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. And I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I was going to introduce Keith. Keith, can I just introduce you? Can you, Keith, from Canada?
Yep, Keith Medrum from Kelowna, British Columbia. Beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Nice to see you both again.
It's fantastic to see everyone again. We were just talking off camera there, and we were sort of saying how intense the actual Congress was like, you know. And I think you said, Joe, it's just like meeting old friends, really, you know. That was for me, and although we've only sort of ever met on social media, I guess. But I thought it would be useful because there's so much went on there at the Congress. What with the people that we was meeting and networking with, but also what we was invited to attend the Pain Patient Alliance meetings. So I thought it would be useful to sort of do a video so we can sort of reflect on the actual meeting itself and who we met, etc. So I'm going to start, Joe, can I start with you? Because I'm a bit of an old school sort of bloke, and it's all about ladies first. So Joe, can you sort of just give us a bit of a whirlwind visit to reflections on the meetings that we attended and the other people that you met there?
Yeah, sure. And I still don't even know if I have fully reflected upon the week and like taken in everything that it means and what it could lead to in the future, because there was just so much. As you mentioned, we are a part of the Global Patient Alliance meetings, and that just gives me such hope for the future of pain research, pain treatment, pain understanding, pain care, and the directions that potentially IASP and other world organizations will take, including the patient voice in all of those different levels. The incorporation of us throughout the World Congress was also such an awesome thing to be a part of. You know, we each had our workshops that we did, and then Pete, you and I got to be on the Innovation Lab stage following up on researchers who presented their research findings and IASP ebook on including qualitative education or qualitative research and pain education. And that was such a cool opportunity to be on the stage after these researchers who are stressing the importance of including qualitative research and pain education. And that qualitative research represents our stories and our voices. So to be able to show that their research does reflect our stories and it is our lived experiences, and to make that connection, I think is so important. And I think that it's the direction of what future congresses and future conferences, professional conferences should take. There should always be that patient, clinician, researcher, even carer perspective on the same stage to show how all of these things are related, and to always bring it back to why everyone is there in the first place. And that's to better understand and treat pain. And pain isn't just this object or this this thing. It's lived by people. You know, pain is an experience that people live. It's the people that are living with pain that we need to help understand and figure out better ways of moving forward with. So all of that gave me such hope, and just being able to see you guys was my favorite part of the whole week, and meeting both you and Keith in person, and then some of the other people who came out of, you know, my phone and my computer into real life. They came off my Twitter feed and were living kind of in the same space, and that was really cool. And it was intense, and it was just a lot. It was a very engaging and interesting week, and also exhausting. My brain was full by the time, my brain and my heart were both full by the end of it.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what, I'm going to go after Keith. Keith, can you tell us what's I think you hit the nail on the head here, Joe, actually, because I'm probably in the same space as well, where I'm still trying to digest it all, because it was so, I don't know, it's an intense sort of meeting that I'm still sort of processing it myself, really, like, and And I still got like a bundle of business cards here that people say, hey, Pete, can you use my card and all sort of stuff. You know, I've only got down to emailing a couple of people, but it's such insane. But Keith, can I just hand over to you a minute? What do you think to the what's your reflections on the IASP meeting?
Well, very similar to what Joe has said. It was an opportunity that when it was presented to us, it first almost felt a little surreal. You know, it was sort of a reach out to IASP to say, hey, you know, I think you guys are doing good work, but you're missing something here. And then all of a sudden there was this sort of whirlwind of, you know, we're bringing patients and we would like presentations, and they talked about this global patient alliance. And at first I didn't really understand what they meant until I talked to Colleen, and she explained what the intent of the Global Patient Alliance is. And I literally sat back in my chair and realized here's an opportunity that we're being given that not many people get, that it is once in a lifetime, an opportunity to truly affect change on an international scale, like a worldwide scale. It was mind-blowing, only to be surpassed when I got there to meet everybody. Like we've all talked about, it was like meeting old friends. You know, we've met each other online, but it was like, you know, seeing your best friend you hadn't seen in 5 years and picking up where you left off. Mm-hmm. And the experience of being there and being immersed in that atmosphere and all that overwhelming knowledge. And what I took away was, I saw that there was so much depth of, you know, people who are so focused in on helping people who live with pain, and recognizing there's still this gap, that they're doing all this great work over here in science and research and medicine, but over here are the people who live with it, and we haven't bridged that gap. So I saw Boston as that opportunity to start to build that bridge. It's not there by any stretch, but the Global Patient Alliance is the opportunity we've been given to lay that foundation to build the bridge. And I think, like you guys, I came away from that week so self-reflective. Like, there's a few moments in my life where I look back and go, like, these are pretty big points in my life. The week in Boston is one of those moments. I mean, I came home and I was just like, really, what is important? Where should I be putting my energy? What is my purpose in life? Like, it was really this self-reflective, navel-gazing, oh my God, why am I on this earth moment, but so empowering and so exciting. So I'm beside myself to see where this can go. You know, my story is, you know, 30 plus years of living with pain, and I never, ever thought I would see a moment like this. So it's important for us to do exactly what we're doing here, Pete, you know, is to grab this and to move it forward and make it everything that I know IASP is looking for, and I know what we can make it to be. So it's still a lot to process.
I think, I mean, I've been to a couple of IASP meetings over the years. I think the last one was in Milan, and I think there was another one in Scotland before then. I can't remember, because they do them all over the world. The ones that are really far away, I could never afford to go to. I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to Boston, but we, you know, our trip was sponsored. But I've never actually been to any IASP meeting or any big pain congress where the patients have actually been involved within that the actual days of the conference. It's either been before, or we've all seemed to be on the fringe, you know. And to me, whoever come up with this idea about inviting us guys over there, I mean, a massive thumbs up to them, really. And I mean, I want to give I think the pharma company, Tiva, I think I've got to give them a shout out, because they sponsored our travel and accommodation and whatnot. So massive shout out to them. But I think for someone there in IASP, we sort of thought, hang on a minute, we need to involve the patient within our congress. I mean, that's a massive shift. That's, in my eyes, that's Captain Kirk stuff. So, and I think, and as you guys are saying, I think now we've got this opportunity, because I think, whereas pain to me has always been very Western sort of thing, but there's these poor devils around the world, like in Africa and Asia and other places, far remote places, who who really do struggle, but they never have the opportunity to experience about what they can do for themselves to manage their pain themselves, like, you know, because when I go to the ethics school in September in Austria, they have doctors there coming from all over, especially like Eastern European pain societies, etc. And pain management really for the person there who lives in there, it all comes out of a needle or a tablet. There's no such thing like what we've experienced about what we can do for ourselves. That's really, it's about, you know, what we will do to you. So, but I think it's how do we, I think that's the bit we're still digesting, is how do we help, how do we work with IASP and help them to take things forward? I mean, have you guys got any ideas on how we can best do that?
Joe, did you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. So to me, I say I just reflect on, and you know, I look at the two meetings that we had with the patient alliance, and really what I saw was, and again, I want to back up, and first of all, I also want to thank IASP for doing this. I knew it was first, it takes a year plus to pull together, and they brought us together in a few months. You know, I'm really appreciative of the fact that they made this happen. And what I saw was at those initial meetings, you know, they bookended the Congress for us. We met with them first and then kind of at the end. I really truly believe they're looking to us to say, help us develop this framework. And what does that mean? Well, that framework has a number of connotations. I don't get the feeling that they're trying to drive this, because I think they realize that they don't really understand it. So it's people like us who have lived this and have learned to live well with it, can help them start to develop this. And so I think we need to be proactive. We might need to be we don't need to be overreactive, but I think we need to make sure we don't step back and sort of let the process overtake this, or this great initiative that they have offered us will be lost. So we need to grab this ball and run with it, because I really feel that the staff at IASP are looking for us to give them that direction and guidance so they can start to build this, so that in Amsterdam at 2020, instead of this being a few people who were asked to come and present, it will be a focus of what the Congress is about, because that's what it should be.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
I was going to say, well, I want to thank IASP for kicking this off too, and especially thank Colleen and Sarah for being the drivers of this and really making this happen and making us feel so welcome and included and valued while we were there. That meant a lot to me, and I think that they're going to be huge drivers of this going forward as well. And I really look forward to that collaboration and partnership with them, and then as well as all of the others that will be included in that global alliance, where we have all of these different perspectives coming together to figure out the best way forward. And I think that our voices, that lived experience voice of having been kind of in the darkness, in the abyss, and finding a way through that, and being able to live well, even in the presence of pain, can be a huge driving factor for that. How can we bring that to other people? How can we help people to reconceptualize their pain and themselves with pain, and get them back to their meaningful, active, purposeful lives? And how can we do that on a global scale? Like, that's a huge task, and it's going to take a lot of thought and a lot of discussions and a lot of these types of interactions where we just kind of brainstorm and see what that could look like and what that could be. And that's why the week was so intense, because the possibilities are immense, and we want to do the best job possible within that, and developing this framework that doesn't yet exist. So being at that ground level is incredibly exciting and also a little bit terrifying. A little bit. But I'm really looking forward to it, though. And I feel like we are empowered, like we've been empowered to share our voices and our perspective and our insights that will really shape what that framework looks like over time. And we need to keep driving it forward. You know, we need to keep having these discussions, and figuring out what that looks like, and then getting feedback from other people when we put stuff like this out. Like, I'm hoping that after you post this video, Pete, that people reach out to us with some of their own ideas and some of their feedback on what we've said, so that we truly get a broad kind of census of what's going out there in pain management and pain care. And I want to say one other thing too, that right before this talk, I was on the webinar, the IASP's webinar on the global year of excellence in pain education. And during that webinar too, they included how patient voices need to be integrated into education as well. So this isn't just for patients, it's also for the clinicians and the researchers, that we could provide an educational educational resource for them as well. And that's equally empowering to hear that even outside of this alliance, there are researchers and clinicians who are stressing the importance of including patient voices in education, from the undergraduate level to the graduate level, to medical schools and health professional programs, to continuing education during practice. So that there's so much that needs to be done, so much that can be done, and we just need to figure out the best ways forward of doing that. How do we integrate those voices into education? How do we get good information to people living with pain? How do we empower them with knowledge, skills, and strategies to live well? It's a lot. It's big, but it's possible too.
Well, I think I'll tell you what would be really, really cool if we, before the next IASP meeting in Amsterdam, is that we, with the Alliance, is that we, as you say, Joe and Keith, we're not just talking still, but we've actually done something.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps we can have a think about some simple goals that we can set ourselves to achieve, and so that by 2020, at the IASP meeting, we could say, well, in this 2 years, we've done X, Y, Z.
Right.
So, because I think it's, I get fed up. I mean, from my sins years ago, I used to work in the NHS, the Natural Health Service, and what they're really good at is talking.
Yeah.
But for doing, there's they're just like, well, let's have a meeting about that. Oh, perhaps we need to have a meeting to have a meeting.
Yeah.
It was all this sort of, and you never move. It just seemed to move very, very slowly. Like it wasn't a step at a time. It was like a millimetre at a time. And it moved very, very slowly. But I think because we're a smallish group, I think there's an opportunity to make things happen very fast.
Yeah.
And I absolutely support that, Pete. And because, like Joe said, this is when you look at all the different tangents that this can go off of, because it starts off as a small idea of a framework, but what does that mean? And the engagement of people and clinicians. And, I heard when we were at the Congress, the number of clinicians and practitioners that are, I don't think, if I say desperate is the wrong word, almost desperate for information and help and how they can better engage with their patients. So it can balloon up into this great, big, daunting task very quickly. And part of our role, I believe, to be successful, like you say, Pete, instead of just talking about it over and over again, is to develop that, okay, in the next 6 months, here are our goals, and they got to be the smart ones, right? They got to be measurable and achievable. And we got to tick these boxes off, because it's the old, how do you eat the elephant? Well, it's one bite at a time. Otherwise, we'll just never take a bite out of the elephant. And total missed opportunity here. And I do not want us, to be at 2020, like you say, Pete, looking back and going, wow, we had 400 meetings. Not a badge of honor.
That's it. Well, I just don't rock with me, man.
I don't see it happening with the group.
I don't see it happening either. And what I'm excited about for 2020, because what was so cool to me about Boston was, within our workshops, the type of engagement that we had with the clinicians and the researchers who were in the audiences, the discussions that took place during the course of those workshops and then afterwards as well. They were really important discussions, honest, vulnerable, probing, thoughtful discussions between medical doctors and pain psychologists and neuroscientists and postgrads who were doing research and occupational therapists and physical therapists and allied health professionals. There were so many people in those rooms, and then the patients too, and even carers in a couple of the sessions. And so many people cross over those distinctions as well. But the conversations that took place there gave me such hope for what the future of the Congress and other conferences can look like, because that's where real change is going to happen, is in those meaningful conversations between these varieties of perspectives, where the clinicians and the researchers and patients and carers are all in the same room or on the same stage, and what that can lead to in terms of better questions to be asking in the research, better ways forward in terms of treatment, better ways forward in terms of empowering patients with the things that they need in order to live well alongside that treatment and that research. So for 2020, I think that like those, especially those researchers and clinicians who were heavily engaged in our workshops and who, you know, reached out to Colleen and Sarah and said that they want to be a part of things, to continue to build those relationships and have those discussions to see what those presentations could look like and start establishing them now, so that we're in the entire Congress planning from the get-go, and that last minute kind of add-on. It'd be great to be a part of those planning committees and things like that too, to have a say throughout that experience, and to be able to really integrate fully the patient perspective into sessions, you know, all the different types of sessions that they have. I'll tell you
one lot of people that who were at our workshops, but there was quite a few people there from the pharmaceutical industry. And one, I think it was on the last day, one of them, I had a chat with him, and I won't say his name, but he was telling me, I think one of the reasons why he was there is from a pharmaceutical point of view, but he was there from a personal reason, because he had a close member of his family actually die from overdosing on the opioid stuff. And I'm thinking he was trying to get some sort of perspective from our point of view of what this family member was going through. So I think there was a lot of people there for different reasons. As you say, there was a whole mixture there of other people with pain. There was the healthcare professionals and the researcher types. But the pharma, I know I spoke to about 3 or 4 people from the pharma industry. I was just chatting to, I don't know who the hell they were. But I'll talk to anyone these days, to be honest with you. So,
well, it's good to have all of those perspectives come together and have those conversations.
Yeah. So I think we need to. I'm not sure if I've got your email address, Keith. If you can message me your email, because we can keep in contact that way. And there's some emails I think I need to send out, but I want to copy you guys in with it as well, so that you're aware of what's doing, and vice versa, whoever that you're contacting, that so we can all sort of stay in the loop. But perhaps we need to have next steps is to have a chat with Colleen and Sarah and see
what we can do.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I think it was important to give a little bit of decompression time after the Congress, because I know for us, and again, we all just shared our stories where we're still kind of processing this, and I have to admit, I'm not the most open guy. So for me to say this is, I'm still really processing a lot of what I went through in that week as to really what am I doing with my life? And that sounds like an overstatement, but it really isn't. So I took so much away from that week, and so much of what I brought back from that was meeting directly with you guys, listening to your presentations. There are still parts of your presentation, Pete, and yours, Joe, that ring in my mind every single day. And I'm like, if that has affected me so much, how do we translate that for others who've never had these opportunities? So, I get really excited, and then it comes back to, just like you said, Pete, we need to go back to Colleen and to Sarah. They've needed some time to decompress. I can only imagine what, their life was like leading up to that. But to say, it's now time to move this forward. And they are such a resource to us. We feed them the information. They can do what they need to do with it. But we need to grab this and own it and make it what it needs to be. And that's where I'm getting really excited, is we've been given this opportunity to affect change on a worldwide scale. Like, I say that and I almost don't believe it. It's like, holy smokes, that's incredible. And we've got a partnership with IASP, who's standing right there with us, saying, do this and we will walk this journey with you. So exciting. And then, Joe, like you said, all the clinicians that I saw there, I had no idea. I'm still in my little bubble, I guess, that there was so much focused, dedicated, committed effort going on throughout the world. I didn't see that depth, because in my world, I was still a little bit of, I'm kind of on my own. I got to figure this out and do my thing. And then to see all of these people and the impact it has on them personally as well, the toll and the stress, we've got to bring this together so that it's that relationship representing and respecting the patient-clinician relationship as well. And so we can find that path forward. So yeah, Pete, it's time to grab this and run with it. And I think it was in a post from Bronnie that she shared with me a little while ago. I believe this is from the mental health world, nothing about us without us.
Yeah.
Such a simple statement, but I can't let that go.
Just had a quick thought. Perhaps one of the questions we can ask Colleen and Sarah is, I wonder if they'll give us some space on the IASP website.
Oh, yeah.
Even say this is the Patient Alliance, and these are the aims of what we're going to be doing, etc. Perhaps a little box, that people can go and watch on. It's something we can refer people to as well.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to impose on your day. My day's coming to an end.
For you.
That's for me. Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm so pumped at the moment. I'm gonna have a go at doing this video tonight, actually.
You won't be able to sleep if you don't.
So the thing is where we bounce off each other, and I was thinking, I've had a long day today, but I'm so pumped now that I just want to get this video up and out there. But if you guys can just stay on the line while I want to stop the recording in a minute, but just stay on the line, just we can have a little bit of a chat offline. So for the viewers who are watching, hope you've found the video useful. It's nice to work with these two lovely people, and I know I'll be seeing you soon, Joe, when you come to Manchester.
Yeah.
For me, that's up north for me.
I'll be there in spirit with you guys. I'll be right there with you.
Yeah.
We'll be channeling your spirit, Keith.
Perfect. I don't know if you can put a slide up with, say, this is Keith. He's our buddy. But so I think we'll probably do a few more of these along the way, but I think it's time for action now. Just get on and do it, really. So I think we've got plenty of gas in the tank. It's just a matter of just starting up the engine and off we go, really. So let's get IASP involved, and we can reverse that saying, actually. What you just said, was it what you said, Keith? Nothing about me?
Nothing about us without us.
Yeah, I mean, really, that also involves the IASP, really, it's involving in guys that, because they're part of our team as well. So
a very strong part, absolutely.
So I wish you a very good day. I hope your day is really nice. It's been a lovely day for me today. I've been up London and a meeting up there with a dude up there. Come home and there was plenty of time. Get the beast out and have a ride around my bike this afternoon.
Nice.
With some warm sun on my face. It was gorgeous. So take care, and I'll speak to you really soon. Thanks
for
watching. Yeah.
Bye, Keith. Bye, Pete.
Thanks for watching, everyone.